Una, kagalang-galang na chairman, dahilan sa kakulangan ng oras, hindi na ako magtatanong sa mga kinatawan ng ABS CBN. Magpe-present lamang ako ng isang simpleng PowerPoint presentation tungkol sa PDR at para ipaliwanag kung bakit sa aking pag-aaral ang aking paniniwala nagkaroon ng violation ang ABS CBN sa ipinagbabawal ng ating saligang batas, yung requirement na 100% Filipino-owned and managed ang ABS CBN. At narito ang aking maikling PowerPoint presentation. Number one, ito po ang number one. Ang ABS-CBN, hindi naman natin pagtatalunan, ay isang telecommunications company. At base sa probisyon ng ating saligang batas, particularly Section 11 of Article 16, pati na Section 14 ng Foreign Investments, at pati na Section 2 ng Presidential Decree 1080, kinakailangan ABS-CBN Corporation must be 100% owned and managed by Filipinos. Inuulit ko po, 100%, not only the management, but also the ownership. Sumunod po, next number please. Katulad ng isang ordinaryong korporasyon, alam po ito ng ating Vice Chairman Defensor. Para magkaroon ng equity o capital o pera ang isang korporasyon, kinakailangang mag-issue ng shares of stocks. At pag nag-issue to ng shares of stock, mayroong magsusubscribe, mayroong magbabayad sa shares of stock ng ABS CBN Corporation. Number 3, ang shares of stock ng ABS Network Corporation, pangkaraniwan ang bumibili ay ang Lopez Group of Companies. Lopez Holdings, Lopez Incorporated, etc. etc. At sa kanilang pagbili, nililinaw natin na sa accounting procedure, nagbabayad ang Lopez Group of Companies para sa konsiderasyon ng shares of stock na kanilang kinuha at yun namang binabayad nila na papapunta sa equity ng ABS-CBN. Next number, please. Ang ginagawa naman ng Lopez Group of Companies, pag sila na ay merong shares of stocks, ibinebenta nila o tinatransfer sa ABS CBN Holdings Corporation. Siyempre, yung pagtatransfer nila, may bayad din ang ABS-CBN Holdings Corporation either in cash or accounts receivable, katulad ng sinabi ng mga kinatawan ng ABS-CBN. Hindi muna binabayaran ng ABS Holding Company ang mga Lopez Group of Companies, nilalagay lamang yan ng holding company as accounts receivable, as liability, yung kanilang pagkakautang. Pagkatapos, ang gagawin naman ng ABS CBN Holdings Corporation, magkakaroon sila ng security agent, mostly foreign corporations. At ang gagawin naman ng mga security agents ay maghanap ng investor para sa PDR na i-issue ng ABS CBN Holdings Corporation. Next number, please. As of March 2020, the total number of PDRs issued by ABS CBN Holding Corporation is 298,827,100 with a market value of 46 per PDR. At ang computation, Filipino PDR holders, million 761,335 PDRs, 46 pesos, representing 37.4%, at ang total value ay 5,141,021,410 pesos. At yun namang PDRs na ang nag-invest ay mga foreign nationals, umabot to sa 187,065,765 PDRs, and at the rate of 46 pesos for every PDR, ang total value ng PDR na nasa kamay ng foreign nationals ay umabot ng 8,605,025,190 pesos, representing 62.6%. Itong lahat ng figures na to, number and amount, ay binigay ng Corporate Secretary ng ABS CBN doon sa huling hearing natin last Thursday. At nais ko ring banggitin na ang lahat ng PDR ay mayroong underlying share na isang common share belonging to ABS CBN Holdings, at yung one share ay nanggaling sa ABS CBN Corporation. Kasi nakalagay naman dito, sa Philippine Deposit Receipt Certificate issued by ABS CBN Holdings Corporation, this certifies Jose de la Cruz is the registered holder of PDR, etc., and is entitled to the delivery or sale of one existing share of stocks of ABS CBN Broadcasting Corporation. Ito po yung sinasabi natin that for every PDR issued by ABS CBN Holdings Corporation, there is an underlying share. At sa last paragraph pa, nakalagay, the PDR represented by this certificate does not represent shares of stock, but only compares a right to delivery or sale of existing shares of stock of ABS CBN Corporation owned by the issuer under the terms and conditions, etc. Lahat po ng aking binanggit at binasa ay nasa Philippine Deposit Receipt Certificate na in-issue ng ABS CBN Holdings Corporation at binigay sa ating committee. Next slide, please. In Gamboa versus Tebes, sinabi po ng kataas-taasang hukuman, mere legal title is not enough to meet the required Filipino equity. Full beneficial ownership of the stocks is essential. Dito po mayroong konting pagkakaiba. Kasi po doon sa Gamboa versus Tebes, ang pinag-uusapan dito ay yung 60-40 requirement insofar as public utility is concerned. At dito sa asuntong to, mayroong mga shares of stock na bumili yung Indonesian tycoon si Salem. At ang sabi ng Korte Suprema, kinakailangan 60% of control must belong to the Filipino citizens. Not only 60% of the ownership, pati na 60% ng management. At ang example na binigay ng Korte Suprema, kung magkakaroon tayo ng 60-40, 40% ay sa foreigners, 60% ay sa Filipinos, assuming na yung 40% ay common shares at yung 60% ay Filipinos, compliant tayo with the requirement of 60-40 ownership. Pero ang tanong ng Korte Suprema, compliant ba tayo sa requirement that the management of public utilities must also belong to Filipino citizen? And sabi ng Korte Suprema, hindi. sapagkat yung 40% ng mga foreigners, kung yon ang mga common stocks, sila ang mamimili ng board of directors na magpapatakbo ng korporasyon. Kaya kahit na 40% lamang ang kanilang interest, they can manage the corporation in violation of the constitutional mandate. Kaya ang sabi ng Supreme Court, kinakailangan ang control na 60%, ownership as well as management shall belong to Filipino citizens. Pero dito po sa kaso ng ABS CBN, hindi natin pinag-uusapan yung 60-40. Ang pinag-uusapan natin dito, 100% Filipino-owned and 100% ang management ay sa Pilipino. At sa issue ng PDR, ang pag-uusapan natin, 100% ba ang pag-aari ng mga Pilipino sa mga shares of stocks ng ABS CBN. Next slide, please. Based on Roman law, and even under the provisions of the Civil Code, full beneficial ownership means that the owner of a thing, real or personal property, has the benefits or the rights of being the owner, including the right to enjoy, right to possess, right to dispose, and right to the fruits. Ito po ang karapatan kung ang isang tao ay mayroong pag-aari ng isang bagay. Mayroon siyang karapatan to enjoy. Mayroon siyang karapatan na ipagbili o ibigay ang kanyang pag-aari. At kung mayroong kinikita yung kanyang property, sa kanya yon sapagkat siya ang may-ari ng ari-arian. Ito ang sinasabi ng Korte Suprema, mere legal title is not enough. Full beneficial ownership must belong to the owner. At para natin siguro malinawan, magbigay tayo ng example. Si Juan de la Cruz, may-ari siya ng isang bahay at lupa. Pwede siyang manirahan sa kanyang bahay at lupa. Nagkaroon ng COVID pandemic, nawalan siya ng trabaho, nawalan ng pera, pwede niyang ibenta yung kanyang bahay at lupa because he has the right to dispose of his property. At kung sakasakali namang hindi niya ibebenta at hindi niya titirhan at iparerenta niya, there will be a lease contract at yung rental ay kay Juan de la Cruz mapapapunta because he is the owner, he is entitled to the fruits of the thing which he owns. Kaya yun po ang ating tinatanong. Number 8, please. While the legal title to the PDRs are in the name of ABS CBN Holding Corporation, the holding company does not have the full benefits of ownership or the right of an owner over the shares of stock underlying every PDR. Wala pong full beneficial ownership ang holding company doon sa mga PDR underlying the PDRs issued to foreign national. Number 1, they are not in possession of the same. At alam naman natin, when it comes to possession, it might be physical possession, it might be constructive possession, it might be legal possession. At dito, ang possession ay nasa legally Philippine Central Depository. Number 2, ABS CBN Holding Company, although the legal title over the shares of stocks is in the name of the holding company cannot dispose of the shares of stock because it is the pledge, because it is a security to every PDR issued to foreign national. At pangatlo, kahit na ang may-ari ng PDR ay ang ABS CBN Holdings Corporation, kung anuman ang kahit na ang ABS CBN Holding Corporation ang may-ari ng shares of stocks ng ABS CBN, nonetheless, yung holding company they will not be entitled to the fruits. Kung mag-declare ng cash dividend ang ABS-CBN, a portion of the cash dividend will go to the PDR, to the holder, to the foreign national who is the holder of the PDR. Halimbawa, mag-declare ang ABS-CBN ng cash dividend sa lahat ng stockholder ng ABS-CBN na mayroong share of stock, the cash dividend is 3 pesos. Sa agreement ng PDR holder at saka ng ABS CBN Holding Company, yung 3 piso hindi mapapapunta sa owner of the stock, the ABS CBN Holding Company. Ang mapapupunta lamang sa ABS CBN Holding Company ay yung kanilang gastos for their operation plus the taxes to be paid, and the remainder will go to the foreign national who is the owner of the PDR. Sa madaling sabi, we assume na piso ang nagastos ng holding company, ng ABS CBN Holdings Corporation for their operation plus taxes. 2 piso ang mapapabigay sa foreign national who is the holder of the PDR. In which case, yung beneficial ownership, that the right of the registered owner, ABS CBN Holdings, to be entitled to the fruits of the income of his property is absent. Kasi pumupunta sa foreign national. At ito ang sinasabi ko, kinakailangan 100% Filipino ownership, and the 100% Filipino ownership, the owner, be it a naked owner or registered owner or real owner, must have all the benefits arising from ownership. Right to dispose, right to the income, right to the enjoy. Next slide, please. On its face, it would appear that ABS-CBN Broadcasting Corporation did not directly violate the constitutional prohibition regarding the 100% Filipino ownership. Sasabihin ng ABS-CBN Network Corporation, hindi namin nilabag ang saligang batas. Ang lahat ng aming stockholders ay mga Filipino citizens, Lopez Company, etc. But through that scheme of the so-called intricate corporate layering, indirectly, binayolate ng ABS-CBN ang constitutional provision. Inisyu nila ang mga shares of stocks sa Lopez Group of Companies, another set of corporations. Ang ginawa ng Lopez Group of Companies, ibinenta naman sa holding company, at ito namang holding company, kumuha ng investment sa mga foreigners. At ito ang sinasabi nating indirect violation of what is directly prohibited under the Constitution. Kasi pinaliwanag ko na, cash dividend pupunta sa PDR foreign holder, yung shares of stock underlying the PDR issued to a foreign holder cannot be sold or transferred by the holding company. Next slide, please. ABS CBN Holdings Corporation, through this scheme and by means of corporate layering, violated 100% Filipino ownership mandated by the Constitution. Ano po ang mga layers ng corporation? The first will be ABS CBN as the issuer of the shares of stocks. The second layer will be the Lopez Group of Companies na bumili ng mga shares of stocks sa ABS CBN network. And the third group of corporation would be ABS CBN Holdings Corporation. These are the 3 layers of different corporations, and under our corporation law, a corporation has a juridical personality separate and distinct from another corporation, even though the stockholders are the same. Pero ang sinasabi ng aking kaibigan na si Deputy Speaker Marcoleta, if the corporation was organized for the purpose of evading the application of a law, most especially a constitutional prohibition, darating na tayo doon sa tinatawag nating piercing the veil of corporate entity. Alisin na natin o ipapakita na natin yung belo ng corporate fiction. And we shall consider that since the stockholders of the three layers of corporations are actually the Lopez Group of companies, we shall consider that all these corporations are one and the same, and we have to apply the constitutional limitation. At ito po ang aking posisyon dito sa pinagtatalunan natin whether or not ABS CBN Corporation has violated the constitutional provisions. And of course, admitted natin, walang jurisprudence insofar as the issue is concerned. But I know that we have the case of Rappler pending before the Supreme Court. We have the co-warrant of petition filed by the Office of the Solicitor General, and hopefully, in the near future, we shall be having a pronouncement on this regard. Pero dito naman sa Kongreso, pinag-uusapan natin, mayroon na bang violation? Binayolate ba ng ABS-CBN? And therefore, in the process of determining whether there is a violation of not under the Constitution, tayo po ang magpapasya muna. Marami pong salamat.
Maraming salamat, Kong PD. Next po natin.
Congressman Barzaga, before we recognize Congressman Lagman for his summation, we'd like to give the floor to Congresswoman Villago.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, kasi kanina sinabi ni Chairman Alvarado, all the PDRs of all major broadcasting companies are almost the same, like sa GMA and the ABS CBN. The only difference is the price. In aid of legislation, in the near future po sana, Mr. Chair, maybe we can also investigate do sa BTRs ng ibang broadcasting companies the way we investigate the PDRs of ABS CBN. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, that is for a member of the House to file the corresponding resolution on that matter. In the meantime, we will abide by the investigation that we are conducting right now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Yes, so, Congressman Salate.
Thank you, Chair. Just an inquiry. Earlier, ang nabanggit ni Chairman Alvarado, yung may extra time na allotted sa authors. Gusto ko lang itanong, Mr. Chair, pwede bang gamitin ito doon sa susunod na issue at hindi rito sa PDR? No? Dahil...
well, that is the way that the committee functions. The time can be carried over.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Dahil nagpapaabot lang yung ibang kasamahan natin na nasa Zoom, like si Congressman Lau Fortun, if he can be given additional time doon sa next issue para makapagtanong siya.
We can give him the time.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
So the chair recognizes Congressman Lagman for his summation.
Joint Chairman, can I now proceed?
Please proceed.
Thank you, Joint Chairman. The Philippine Deposit Receipts, or PDRs, of ABS CBN, which are issued to foreign investors, are completely compliant with the Constitution and do not constitute a scheme to circumvent the constitutional requirement on 100% Filipino ownership and management of mass media enterprises. The criticism that PDRs achieve indirectly what the Constitution directly prohibits is regrettably utterly baseless speculation. There is no need to invoke the piercing of the veil of corporate fiction with respect to PDRs because, one, there is nothing secret or furtive about the issuance of PDRs, as the issuance is permitted both by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Philippine Stock Exchange for public transactions. Two, the relation of ABS CBN Holdings Corporation and ABS CBN Corporation are open and made public. ABS CBN Holdings is the issuer of PDRs over the shares of ABS CBN owned by it as underlying shares. There is nothing illegal or irregular about this. Three, to reiterate, the PDRs are not used to avoid or circumvent the pertinent provisions of the Constitution. They are compliant with Section 11.1 of Article 16 of the Constitution. Also, there is no need to make a distinction between American depository receipts and the Philippine deposit receipts based on the difference that in the US, unlike in the Philippines, no corporation has a nationality or citizenship requirement because both the American depository receipt and the Philippine deposit receipt are instruments of investments, not infusion of capital. In other words, the corporate ownership is not affected by the investments of holders of American depository receipts and Philippine deposit receipts upon the issuance of the deposit receipts, whether American or Philippine. It is not surprising that majority of those who purchase PDRs are foreigners because PDRs were available in the Philippine setting after the late 1980s financial crisis, principally to secure foreign investments because the traditional source of financing were not anymore available. Also, the right of an alien PDR holder is limited to his ownership of the PDR. For example, his right to fruits or cash distribution, as well as option to have the underlying shares to which he is not entitled to own, sold in the stock market, and receive the proceeds of the sale. PDR holders are not stockholders because they have no voting rights and full beneficial ownership of a mass media corporation like ABS CBN. Neither do they have title over the underlying shares. The Supreme Court ruled in Gamboa versus Tebes and reiterated in Roy versus Herbosa that, quote, control, unquote, with respect to nationalized businesses refers to, and I quote, shares with voting rights as well as full beneficial ownership, precisely because the right to vote in the election of directors coupled with full beneficial ownership of stocks translates to effective control of a corporation. These Supreme Court decisions, although judicial interpretation of Section 11 of Article 12 on the 60-40 Filipino ownership of public utilities, apply by parity of constitutional intent to the requirement of 100% Filipino ownership and management for mass media under Section 11.1 of Article 16, which mandates, and I quote, the ownership and management. Let me underscore that ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations, cooperatives, or associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens. Without voting rights and title over the underlying shares, the PDR holders do not have ownership and management of ABS CBN Corporation. The practice of issuing PDRs to secure investments is not an innovation of ABS CBN because almost 100 years ago in the United States, American depository receipts were already part of the corporate practice to secure investments, not capital infusion, just like the European depository receipts of later vintage. In fact, GMA7 has its own PDRs similar to ABS CBN, which do not transfer control to the foreign holders of PDRs. The rights of PDR holders are limited to the following. One, receiving cash distribution consequent to the declaration of dividends accruing to the underlying shares of stock after the issuer, in this case, ABS CBN Holdings, deducts cost of operation and payment of taxes. Two, option to convert the PDRs to shares of stock if they are qualified to own shares as Filipinos. And three, being ineligible, alien holders of PDRs can only receive the proceeds of the sale of the shares in the stock market. The stringent limitations on PDRs are stipulated in the following documents. One, PDR certificate. Two, PDR instrument. And three, PDR pledge agreement wherein the pledgor issuer retains ownership and voting rights over the underlying shares of the stock. The sale of ABS CBN PDRs, let me repeat, is authorized both by the Securities and Exchange Commission and the Philippine Stock Exchange. Honorable Joint Chairman, no avalanche of adverse comments and speculative innuendos will alter the operative fact that PDRs are not vested with voting rights, ownership entitlements, or management prerogatives, and cannot be converted into shares of stock in favor of alien PDR holders. Thank you, Honorable Joint Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Lukman. Next, the chair would like to recognize Congressman Mike Defensor for his summation. Congressman Defensor.
Thank you so much, Congressman Choy Alvarez, to the Joint Chairman. Before I begin my summation, I'd just like to ask Attorney Del Castillo, is the ABS CBN Broadcasting Corporation listed in the US Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, or any foreign exchange?
It's not po, only in the Philippines.
Thank you for that. Kanina ho, sinabi kanina na ito daw po ay hindi na bago at matagal na pong ginagawa. But I beg to disagree. Ito po ang kaunahang ginawa, ang Philippine Depository Receipt. Ito lang po ay unique sa ating bansa. Sa kadahilanan po ang ADR or American Depository Receipts o Global Depository Receipts, may German Depository Receipts. Bago nyo po gawin yan, pupunta ka sa New York o sa Amerika. Ipapalista mo ang iyong korporasyon. Merong mga rekisito po yan. At mula doon, magkakaroon ng isang depository bank na siyang mag-i-issue ng PDR at ang mga Amerikano, pwede silang mag-invest doon sa korporasyon na naglista sa kanilang stock exchange. Kaya ako po tinanong si Atty. Del Castillo tungkol dito dahil ang Philippine Depository Receipts, hindi po yan pwedeng o hindi po yan nakalista sa ibang bansa. Dahil pong ABS CBN, dahil sa limitasyon ng konstitusyon, hindi naman din po pwede maglista sa ibang stock exchange, sa foreign stock exchange. So iba ho ang American Depository Receipts sa Philippine Depository Receipts. Nagkapareho lang po sa pangalan. At sa isang banda, nagkapareho po siguro doon sa tinatawag nating relasyon ng share ng kumpanya at ang PDR. Ang diferensya po sa American Depository Receipt, pag ikaw ay bumili ng share, talagang nasa iyo, sa iyong pangalan. Pero ito'y kinakatawan ng isang PDR. Ang Philippine Depository Receipt, wala sa iyong pangalan. Nasa pangalan ng ABS CBN Holdings. Nasa pangalan ng Lopez Holdings. Gusto ko po linawin na yung corporate layering, hindi lang po isa. Maaari po natin sabihin isa, dalawa o tatlo. Dahil magmula po sa ABS CBN, merong ABS CBN Holdings. Yun naman po Lopez Inc. na humigit kumulang 50% ang kanyang pagmamayari ng ABS CBN, meron din pong Lopez Holdings. Kaya nga po nung nakaraang ako'y nagkaroon ng presentasyon, hinihingi ko kung maaaring ipakita sa atin yung PDR ng Lopez Holdings. Kasi po ang Lopez Inc. hindi naman po listed company. The only reason why these were all revealed, kasi sabi po kanina, bukas naman, talaga namang dinideklara na may PDR. Ito po ay dahilan sa sila po ay listed company. And they have to divulge kung ano ang nangyari sa kanilang korporasyon. So ang Lopez Holdings, nakalista po yan. Ang ABS CBN Corporation, nakalista po yan sa stock exchange. At maging po ang sinasabi nating Lopez Holdings Inc. Ngayon, nagulat po ako, for the first time, Atty. Del Castillo mentioned, nagbobotohan pala po yung PDR holders. Tama po ba, Atty. Del Castillo? Nag-uusap po sila, bumoboto, pero sa holdings lang po, hindi sa ABS CBN Corporation.
Opo, yun lang pong mga rights ng mga PDR holders. Meron po din silang meetings because there's a group. So, iba po yun sa mga owners ng ABS-CBN, mga shareholders. Iba po yung meeting ng ABS-CBN broadcasting shareholders where ABS-CBN Holdings vote the shares.
Tama po. Kanina ho, binanggit ni Congressman Barzaga na ang PDR foreign holders po ay umaabot sa 8 bilyong piso. Sa ABS-CBN Corporation po, yung sinasabi ng PCD nominee, nandiyan pong PDRs, almost more or less 40% ownership ng ABS-CBN. Can you imagine yung influence na pwedeng gawin ng PDR holders foreign? Having 8 billion pesos, nagmamayari ng 8 bilyong piso, hindi ba nila pwedeng sabihin sa ABS-CBN Holdings, eto gawin ninyo, ito yung dapat dahil malaki ang ininvest namin sa inyo. At siyempre natural lamang ang ABS-CBN Holdings, given that this is the biggest shareholder within the company, ilalabas nila yung sentimento ng mga PDR holders. Of course, that remains to be seen. Pero kahit saan pong negosyo, kung sino ang may pinakamalaking nilagay na pondo, siya po ay pwedeng mag-influensya either directly or indirectly kahit wala siyang control. Ngayon po, sinabi, maraming nagsasabi, hindi lang po dito, maging sa labas, bakit naman ABS-CBN lang ang pinarurusahan? Bakit hindi parusahan ng GMA? Bakit hindi parusahan ng Rappler? Ang Rappler ho, nagkakaso na. Tama po yun. Hindi ko naman po sinasabing exempted ang GMA sa usaping to. Pero hindi po ibig sabihin na nagnakaw si Juan, pwede niyang ituro si Pedro at sabihin niyang, bakit si Pedro hindi niyo ikulong? Kami lang kinukulong niyo. Malayo po sa usapin. Pag may kalaban, may kasalanan, at mayroong violation na sa ligang batas, kailangan po nating tingnan yan. And I'm very happy that some of our colleagues would like to look into GMA. I agree. But let's not be diverted from the issue. Ang issue po dito, was there a violation of ABS-CBN of our Constitution? Noon pa lang pong 1994, nagkaroon na po ng issuance ang ating pong foreign investment negative list. Kasi sinasabi, investment to, hindi naman shareholder. Number 1 po dyan, ang nakalagay, there shall be no foreign equity pursuant to Article 16, Section 11 of the Constitution and Presidential Memorandum dated May 5, 1994, mass media is the very first on the negative list, the most important, and it must be 0% foreign and 100% Filipino. Paulit-ulit na po sinabi, yung share na yan may katumbas na isang common share. Kung ang ABS CBN po ay 1 billion worth at 300 milyon ang nilagay natin para sa PDR, 300 milyon din po na pag-aari o share ng ABS CBN Corporation ang tinatabi at binabangga dito. Kung ano ang kita ng 30% yun, pupunta sa PDR holders. Pag ibinenta ang PDR na yun, ang binibenta rin niya ang common share. Attorney Del Castillo, if I am now a Filipino and I buy the PDR owned by a foreigner, can that be translated to a common share if I want to and say, I don't want a PDR anymore, but 10 million common shares, which is equivalent to 10 million PDRs. Is that possible?
That's possible po. He can exercise the rights granted under the PDR to convert the PDRs into common shares.
So exactly my point, Mr. Chair. The ownership of a PDR is an ownership of the common share. Itinago lang po. Excuse me, attorney, forgive me for this, pero itinago lang po yung pagmamay-ari. For example, and if I may ask Attorney Del Castillo this, bawal po mag-ari ang banyaga ng lupa, di po ba, na Pilipino?
Opo.
At kung ako po kukuha ng isang Pilipino at sabihin kong ilagay mo sa iyong pangalan at yung renta dyan, ibigay mo sa akin, may balato ka na lang, eh iyon po yung pinagbabawal.
Opo, pero magkaiba po yun. Kasi
Opo. At kung sakali pong ibenta yung lupa at sinabi kong akin na yung pera, ibibigay ko rin sa iyo yung bigyan kitang balato, pero sa akin yung kita, yun din po ay pinagbabawal kung ako'y banyaga.
opo.
So, of course, si Attorney Del Castillo will have their chance in court when this will be discussed. Pero sa akin lang pong interpretasyon, ganun po ang nangyari sa PDR. It represents a dummy. Yung pong dummy is the paper, which is the PDR. Sa atin po ngayon, marami po ang mga kasama natin na naniniwala na dapat ang ating lupa ay pag-aari ng Pilipino, huwag dapat buksan ang ekonomiya. For that matter, Mr. Chairman, I would like the Constitution to be amended. No, I would like that there would be a more liberal investment coming in from foreign investors. But as it is, sa ngayon po, wala tayong magagawa. Iyon ang ating saligang batas. Isipin niyo po, kung lahat pala ng lupa sa ating bansa, lahat ng magsasaka, ginawa ko yung lupa, lagyan ko ng PDR, wala sa pangalan mo. Nandun pa rin kay Juan de la Cruz, pero may PDR. Ang kita, sa'yo. Pag binenta yung lupa, sa'yo. Kawawa naman po yung mga Pilipino. Kawawa naman yung ating mga magsasaka. Sa ilalim pala ng isang creative arrangement, sa isang magandang pagsasaayos ng ating mga papel, ng ating mga batas, pwede tayong magkaroon ng PDR, marami ng banyaga na pwedeng makuha ang lupa ng ating mga magsasaka, ang lupa ng ating mga Pilipino na mayroong mga sariling bahay at lupa na kanilang pagmamayari. Mr. Chair, sinabi po nila, at ito yung napakagandang punto, in-approve po kami ng SEC, in-approve kami ng PSE. I beg to disagree that the sale was the approval. Ang pinayagan po ay yung PDR instrument. Just like any other listed corporation, sasabihin ko po, I am company A and I would like to issue stocks. Ito po yung aking basis for issuing stocks. These are the assets that I have. Sasabihin lang sa SEC, tama naman, wala kang denialing. Sasabihin ng Philippine Stock Exchange, yes, okay, you can issue that out. Pero yung bibili ng banyaga, walang alam ang SEC doon. Andito po ba ang SEC? Is the Commissioner Ramatong here?
They're in Zoom.
Yes, Commissioner Ramatong, tama po ba ako? Yung PDR instrument ang in-approve nyo. Pero yung pagbili ng banyaga ng foreign national ay wala kayong alam.
SEC? Commissioner Amatong.
Well, the reason, Mr. Chair, ito na po. Sorry.
Good afternoon, Honorable Congressman Defensor. Yes, I am representing the SEC this afternoon. That is correct, Mr. Chair.
Kaya ako po binanggit yan. Naawa na rin ako sa SEC, bugbog na. Sabi pa ho ng abogado ng ABS CBN, pag kami nagkamali, SEC may problema dahil siya nag-approve. Hindi po. Walang kinalaman ang SEC sa pagbenta sa banyaga. Ang pinag-aprubahan nila ay yung PDR instrument, just as any shares sold to the market are approved by the SEC, but they do not know whether or not criminal elements, terrorist groups are buying the shares. Wala hong alam ang Securities and Exchange Commission doon sa usaping yun. Tama po ba, SEC?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, just to be fair, I see Ms. Attorney Del Castillo raising her hand. Maybe she can say something.
Your Honor, when we applied for registration of the PDRs with the SEC and the listing with the Philippine Stock Exchange, we had fully disclosed po that the PDRs can be sold to anyone regardless of nationality. Nakalagay po yan sa prospectus at lahat po ng disclosures na isinibinti namin sa Stock Exchange at saka sa Securities and Exchange Commission. Wala pong itinago dyan. Hindi po nila alam ang pangalan ng mga taong bumili, pero alam po nila ang terms and conditions of the PDRs na wala pong restriction in terms of nationality.
Would SEC like to reply?
Yes, Mr. Chair. We would like to emphasize that when the PDRs were presented to us and we issued an action on the same, the term that was used was rendered operative. The documents that were issued by SEC did not use the word approved. So it means that the SEC, after going through the documents and confirming that it has complied with the requirements prescribed by laws, rules, and regulations, rendered these documents or the registration statement operative, Mr. Chair.
Suspended. Hearing suspended. Okay, hearing is resumed. Congressman Defensor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, again, ito po'y usapin na kailangang ayusin ng ABS-CBN at ng Securities Exchange Commission. Pero katulad po na sinasabi ng SEC, hindi namin alam, ang sinabi lang namin, operative. Ang sinasabi ng ABS-CBN, alam ninyo. Pero again, we have lawyers here, we have lawyers in the SEC, yan po'y kailangan yung resolve. Pero for the first time, maganda po yung lumalabas kasi nagtuturoan na kung sino talagang kung may kagalagawan, hindi ko sinasabing may kasalanan, nagtuturoan na ho kung sino talaga. Ang sabi ng ABS, ipinayagan nyo kami. Ang sabi ng SEC, hindi namin kayo payagan, ito lang ginawa namin. Ito po'y resolve natin sa korte. No? Dahil ito naman po'y resolve sa korte. Dahil meron akong co-warranto na ipinasok ang ating pong Solicitor General regarding Rappler. And I'm sure this would affect the ownership, in particular, ng PDRs of ABS CBN and GMA. Mr. Chairman, I see yes, Congressman PD, this is my time, but yes, you can please intervene.
Just a very important question. And I will be addressing my question sa kinatawan ng Securities and Exchange Commission. Ang tanong ko, noon bang nag-apply ang ABS-CBN para magkaroon ng authority o kapangyarihan na mag-issue ng PDR, isinama ba sa kanilang mga dokumento o application ang sample ng Philippine Deposit Receipt Certificate?
SEC?
Yes, sir. That was included in the documents that were submitted.
At inyo bang napansin na nakalagay rito ang mga prices relating to existing shares of ABS CBN Broadcasting Corporation, underlying shares?
That is correct, sir.
Is correct. At nakalagay din dito na kung sino man ang may hawak ng PDR, he shall be entitled to the delivery of one existing share of stock.
That is also correct, sir. That is why, sir, if I may, sir.
Alaman nyo,
Yes, sir.
dito sa last paragraph, nakalagay din dito, the PDR represented by this certificate does not represent shares of stock, but only confers a right to the delivery or sale of existing shares of stock of ABS CBN Broadcasting Corporation owned by the issuer under the terms and conditions stated herein in the PDR instrument.
That's correct, sir. We confirm.
At siguro sasangayunan mo ko na base sa mga dokumento, sa Philippine Deposit Receipt Certificate na kasama ng mga dokumento sa application, walang prohibition na mag-issue ng PDR sa foreign nationals.
Sir, with all due respect, the issuance of PDRs to foreign nationals, yes, we confirm that that is the case.
There is no prohibition.
Yes, sir.
At hindi nyo rin sinabi sa ABS-CBN, baka naman kung ibebenta nyo ito sa foreign nationals, baka naman magkaroon kayo ng violation ng 100% requirement under the Constitution and under pertinent laws.
So we did not do that, sir. That's why in our position paper that we submitted to the Honorable Committee, we emphasize, sir, that the act of the SEC was limited to the making operative the registration statement. We also emphasize that how ABS CBN Holdings made use or operationalized the PDR is another issue that needs to be determined or that needs further investigation if we will be able to look into any violation of the Constitution, sir.
Ganong karami o ilang beses humingi ng application, nagbigay ng application at approval ang ABS-CBN para sa pag-issue ng PDR?
Mr. Chair, just before the resource person answer, may I just inquire if he already took his oath as a resource person and the name of the resource person, because previously it was as Chairman Amatong who was here.
Have you taken your oath of office, Attorney Padilla?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, if the Honorable Barzaga is
Balik ako
already...
sa aking katanungan. Ilang beses na nag-apply ang ABS-CBN para humingi ng approval sa Securities and Exchange Commission sa pag-issue ng PDR?
Sir, twice, sir. One in 1999 and one in 2013. Two registration statements, sir.
Two registrations. Okay, I think that would be all.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Congressman Defensor, you may continue.
thank you for that, Mr. Chairman. Kung maaari ko lang pong tapusin na yung aking sinasabi tungkol sa pagkaklaro ni Honorable Barzaga.
Mr. Chair, may I have 1 minute only because this is very relevant also in relation to Congressman Barzaga's point.
Mr. Chair, I just want to clarify that I recognize my right as the holder of the time, but I defer to the seniority of Honorable Barzaga and Honorable Malcoreta. I defer only because of age, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Yes, Congressman Marcoleta, proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I'd like to take advantage of the presence of the Securities and Exchange Commission's official May I continue on that particular point? If the SEC is still there, I'd like to draw the attention of the Securities and Exchange Commission on the first page of the prospectus dated January 6, 2014, which accompanied the 2014 registration statement of ABS CBN. The following disclaimer is written, and I quote, "The Securities and Exchange Commission has not approved these securities or determined if this prospectus is accurate or complete. Any representation to the contrary is criminal offense and should be reported immediately to the Securities and Exchange Commission." Question: does this mean that the approved permit to sell PDRs as securities only involved the sale of the PDR and did not extend to the validity or constitutionality of the terms thereof or the qualification of the actual holder of the PDR? Is that correct?
That is correct, sir.
And is it not correct to state also that in approving the sale of the PDR, the SEC merely relied on the information provided or not provided by ABS CBN Holdings Corporation?
That is also correct, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Congressman Defensor.
Maraming salamat, Congressman, Mr. Chairman. Chairman Boying Rimulya, Chairman Alvarez, in Zoom. Sa dalawang katanungan ng ating makasama, Congressman Barzaga at Congressman Marcoleta, malinaw na malinaw po na sa sitwasyon po sa ngayon, itong sinasabing PDR ay talagang representasyon ng pagmamayari. Maganda. At naiayos naman yung kanilang ginagawa. Naiayos nila yung forma ng kanilang PDR para nga itago sa ilalim ng papel kung paano nagmamayari ng isang common share. At sa loob ng mga korporasyon, nabanggit ko na kanina, ang paglilayer ng bawat korporasyon para maiayos yung pagmamayari sa ABS CBN Corporation. Binanggit na po kanina na nga na ang kita ng bawat share na yan, hindi naman pumupunta sa ABS CBN Holdings. Yan po ay pumupunta sa PDR holder. Pagka ibinenta naman po ng PDR holder yung kanyang share, kaya po tinanong ko si Atty. Del Castillo kanina, kung ako'y Pilipino, gusto ko bang gawing common share? Pwede, pwede. Kasi yun po talaga ang parabang pagsasaayos na ng pagmamayari ng Pilipino. Binanggit ko na po kanina, doon po sa ating Foreign Investment Act, sinasabi po talaga bawal na mag-invest ang mass media sa ating pong bansa. Hindi pa pwedeng makapag-invest ang foreign individual, foreign corporation sa mass media. Number 1 sa ating negative list. Sinabi na rin po yung batas na PD 1018, the ownership and management of mass media shall be limited to citizens of the Philippines or to corporations or associations wholly owned and managed by such citizens. Yan po ang batas na kabilang na rin doon sa ating provision ng ating konstitusyon. At dito po sa ating anti-dummy law, sinasabi na rin po dito sa Commonwealth Act 108 na ang batas na ito, any citizen of the Philippines or of those specific country who allows his name or citizenship to be used for the purpose of evading constitutional or legal provisions which require Philippine or any other specific citizenship as a requisite for the exercise or enjoyment of a right, franchise or privilege. Any alien or foreigner profiting thereby may also be held liable. ABS-CBN and those that support the PDR issuance will say, hindi naman itinago, idineklara. Yes, it should be declared. Because again, it is part of the listed company's responsibility to declare such PDR. But is it legal? I do not think so. And I hope the Supreme Court will finally decide on this. So, Mr. Chair, bilang hong pagtatapos, yung pong binabanggit nila sa lisensya na binigay ng SEC at PSE, para po yung lisensya sa pagdadrive. Binigyan ka lisensya ng pagdadrive, pero hindi ibig sabihin legal yan na mambunggo ka. O hindi ibig sabihin na pwede kang uminom at kapit mo lisensya. Ang inaprubahan yung lisensya mo. Pero kung paano mo ito gagawin, yun po ang hindi pinagbibigyan at merong mga batayan ng batas na hindi pinapayagan. In this case, ito pong pagbenta sa ating pong mga foreign nationals o mga banyaga. So Mr. Chair, sa pagtatapos katulad ko ng aking nabanggit nung una at uulitin ko lang ulit, unang-una ho ang ADR, ang ang Global Depository Receipts ay kaiba sa PDR. Kahit na ho magbasa na pa lahat ng mga nag-aaral sa capital markets, lahat ng mga investment experts, ibang-iba ho, you should be listed in the country where you will be doing Global Depository Receipts or American Depository Receipts. Dito po, wala naman listing ang ABS CBN sa New York Stock Exchange or sa London Stock Exchange. Definitely, because that will not be allowed. Pangalawa po, ang SEC, ang PSE, at ngayon po, nililinaw, nag-uusap sila, sinasabi, hindi na ito pinayagan. At yan po, pwedeng sabihin ng ABS-CBN, hindi, pinayagan nyo kami, pero nakikita nyo na ho, may pagtatalo na. Ayaw nang kunin ng responsibilidad ng SEC yung nangyaring issuance ng PDR, or else they will say so. If they will really take responsibility for the approval and sale to foreigners of PDR. And last but not the least, Mr. Chairman, kasama po ito sa negative list, hindi po ito pinapayagan ng batas, may anti-dummy component po ito, at ito po ay pag-circumvent sa saligang batas ng ating bansa. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.